Okay. Good morning. So we shall continue our program of revolutionary terrorism or the revolutionary nationalism in India. Then what we have seen yesterday, that the great output of that revolutionary nationalism was that the theory and philosophy which was preached by extremists was transformed into practicality by revolutionaries. That is the main theme. And they believe in active resistance. Active resistance means there is a positive harm, even loss of the life. So revolutionaries, they wanted to spread the terror. They wanted to spread the terror and they target unpopular British officers, forcing them and terrorizing them to leave India. This is how the revolutionary terrorism was designed. But when the moderate politics or the extremist politics, it failed to substantialize something good for the Indians. Thereafter, the frustration of the youth led to the rise of the violence. So the frustration because of the moderate and extremist politics had started. This is the main theme that why revolutionary movement had become so much focused. Although violence in Indian society was not sanctioned, so revolutionaries initially they don't have the social support. They were simply acting like an individual heroes, those who very much guided by the revolutionary formula. And they wanted to implicate the policies in which the unpopular British officers were targeted because of they were individual heroes. Despite the fact that they were not social support, but they had intense love for motherland. So we have the two phases of the revolutionary movement. One phase is that the pre-war period or the before the advent of Gandhi in Indian politics, and second after suspension of non-cooperation movement. So revolutionary movement. Revolutionary movement. It started in the atmosphere of political frustration. It started in the atmosphere of political frustration. Revolutionary movement, it started in the atmosphere of political frustration. When moderate and extremist failed to fulfill expectation of people, therefore the revolutionary movement had started. Revolutionary movement had started. Revolutionary believed in active resistance. There was positive harm to the life. Positive harm to the life. Active resistance. There was positive harm to the life. positive harm to the life. Revolutionaries had targeted unpopular British officer unpopular British officers. Those involved in hatred towards the Indians. Unpopular British officers. Those involved in hatred towards the Indians. Those involved in hatred towards the Indians. Unpopular British officers. Those involved in racial abuse, and racial discrimination. Revolutionaries were having intense love for motherland, love for motherland. Intense love for motherland. And ready to sacrifice the life. Ready to sacrifice the life. There are two phases of the revolutionary movement. Two phases of revolutionary movement. Pre-war phase. Pre-war means First World War. And post-war. Second World War. Pre-war and the post-war. Before the Second World War. Before Second World War. Post-war means after First World War, means in between the First World War and Second World War. This phase started after suspension of non-cooperation movement. Suspension of non-cooperation movement. This phase started after suspension of non-cooperation movement. Post-war. In pre-war period, pre-First World War period, revolutionaries were using the religious symbols like Bharat Mata, In this phase, there was no social support because violence in Indian society was generally not sanctioned. Generally not sanctioned. Generally not sanctioned. There was no effective organization. There was no effective organization, centralized leadership, and defined political objective. Defined political objectives. Revolutionaries were inspired by Irish Republican Army and Irish Home Rule League movement. Irish Republican Army and Irish Home Rule League movement. Irish Republican Army and Irish Home Rule League movement. They were very much encouraged by defeat of Russia by Japanese. (1945). Defeat of Russia by Japanese, 1945. Defeat of Russia by Japanese, 1945. The repressive policies of British. The repressive policies of British also responsible for the rise of revolutionary activities. They adopted the method called active resistance. Individual heroism. Individual heroism. Individual heroism. They tried to assassinate unpopular British officers, unpopular British officers. They targeted British communication system. They targeted British communication system. They organized military conspiracies. They organized military conspiracies to get help from enemies of Britain. They get help from enemies of Britain. They formed secret societies in many parts of India. Secret societies in many parts of India. Even they employed women members. To carry out the message. In Bengal, secret societies like Anushilan Samiti was established. Anushilan Samiti was established. At Calcutta, Midnapur, and Dhaka. Calcutta, Midnapur, and Dhaka. Anushilan Samiti of Calcutta was very effective. Pramoda Mittal, Midnapur, Jatindra Nath Basu, Dhaka, Pulin Bihari Das. Pulin Bihari Das. Anushilan Samiti. It was a revolutionary organization. There were many revolutionary magazines there were many revolutionary magazines published by these revolutionaries. Carried out by these revolutionaries to promote the revolutionary work. To promote revolutionary work and to inspire the Indians youth in revolutionary activities. Inspire the Indian youth in revolutionary activities. Like Yugantar, मुक्ति कौन पाथे, भवानी मंदिर, युगांतर, मुक्ति कौन पाथे and भवानी मंदिर. युगांतर, मुक्ति कौन पाथे and भवानी मंदिर. These are the revolutionaries' publication to inspire youth to join the revolutionary activities. So revolutionaries had targeted many British officers. The major activities of this revolutionary was Alipur conspiracy case. It is also known as Maniktala bomb case. Maniktala bomb case. Alipur conspiracy case and Maniktala bomb case. In 1908-1909, many revolutionaries were caught by the British. They were arrested on the charge of waging war against British Empire. Waging war against British Empire. Waging war against British Empire. The trial in Alipur conspiracy case started because of two young boy Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Chaki tried to kill district judge of Muzaffarpur. District Judge of Muzaffarpur, Kingsford. District Judge of Muzaffarpur, Kingsford. So Khudiram Bose, Prafulla Chaki, District Judge of Muzaffarpur, Kingsford. Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Chaki. Prafulla Chaki shot himself as he did not like to be captured by the British. But Khudiram Bose was arrested and he was hanged. He was hanged. So district judges also Muzaffarpur, Kingsford. Khudiram Bose was hanged. In Alipur conspiracy case, the Barinder Ghosh and Aurobindo Ghosh both were arrested. Aurobindo Ghosh, Barinder Ghosh both were arrested. In this case, Narendra Gosai he became government approver against Aurobindo Ghosh. He turned approver against Aurobindo Ghosh. In fact, government wanted to implicate Aurobindo Ghosh. He was the father of extremism, so Narendra Gosai. But in jail itself, Kanhaiya Lal Dutt Kanhaiyalal Dutt and Satyen Bose, both killed Narendra Gosai before he could proceed, killed Narendra Gosai before he could proceed in the court against Aurobindo Ghosh. So they killed Narendra Gosai before they could proceed in the court. Narendra Gosai. Aurobindo Ghosh was brilliantly defended by C.R. Das. Brilliantly defended by C.R. Das. And due to lack of evidence, Aurobindo Ghosh was acquitted from all charges. Due to lack of evidence, Aurobindo Ghosh was acquitted from all charges. After this case, he had taken retirement from active politics. After this, he had taken retirement from active politics. Retirement from active politics. He settled in Pondicherry and died as a philosopher sant. Died as a philosopher sant. So this is the beginning of the revolutionary trend in Bengal in the first phase. They were all together very active with the Anushilan Samiti. Barendra Ghosh. In Maharashtra, revolutionary movement had started in as early 1879 during the Ramosi movement. Which was a peasant movement. Peasant movement. Vasudev Balwant Pharke had started this Ramosi peasant force. Vasudev Balwant Pharke had started the Ramosi peasant force to target British officers. To organized armed rebellion against British. Or armed rebellion against British. (1890s). Tilak gave ideological support to revolutionaries. Ideological support to revolutionaries. By publication of Kesari and Maratha, a newspaper. Kesari was in Marathi language, and Maratha was in English language. Kesari was in Marathi language and Maratha was in English language. Tilak also started Shivaji festival and Ganesh festival. Ganesh festival. Shivaji festival and Ganesh festival. It was cultural nationalism against the foreign rule. Shivaji festival and Ganesh festival, it was a cultural nationalism against the foreign rule. In 1897, Chapekar brothers Ganesh and Balakrishna Chapekar targeted plague commissioners of Pune, Rand and Amherst. Plague commissioners of Pune, Rand and Amherst. They were employed for welfare of plague victims, but they were involved in exploitation of plague victims. exploitation of plague victims. In Maharashtra, Mitra Mela was established in 1899 by Ganesh Savarkar. Ganesh Savarkar. Mitra Mela by Ganesh Savarkar. Later on in 1904, its name was changed by B.D. Savarkar and it became Abhinav Bharat. Abhinav Bharat. Abhinav Bharat. B.D. Savarkar Anant Lakshman Kanhare. Anant Lakshman Kanhare killed Jackson. A district magistrate of Nasik. District magistrate of Nasik. So it was a very intense revolutionary work. In Madras, Banchinathan Iyer Banchinathan Iyer killed a district magistrate of Tirunelveli. District magistrate of Tirunelveli. He was responsible for police firing. On the people who were protesting against arrest of P. Chidambaram Pillai. Arrest of P. Chidambaram Pillai. Against the arrest of P. Chidambaram Pillai. So Banchinath Iyer, he was very much related to Abhinav Bharat Society. Banchinath Iyer, he was very much associated with Abhinav Bharat Society. He was very much associated to Abhinav Bharat Society. Banchinathan Iyer. In Punjab, Delhi and UP, Ras Bihari Bose, Punjab, Delhi and UP, Ras Bihari Bose, Sachin Sanyal, created many revolutionary network. Created many revolutionary network. They published journal Bharat Mata. This journal was published by Lala Lajpat Rai and Ajit Singh. To popularized revolutionary movement in Punjab. Lala Lajpat Rai and Ajit Singh, they were deported from Punjab, on charge of violence and the revolutionary activities. On charge of violence and revolutionary activities. Delhi conspiracy case. Nineteen 1912. Ras Behari Bose. He threw a bomb on Lord Hardinge. When he was making official entry, bomb on Lord Hardinge, when he was making the official entry in Delhi, Lord Hardinge second, making the official entry in Delhi after transfer of capital. After transfer of capital. Official entry in Delhi after transfer of capital. Ras Behari Bose. So 3 years he remained hiding there in India. And after that, he skipped from India and became member of Ghadar Party. Of Lala Hardayal. Member of Ghadar Party, Lala Hardayal. Ghadar Party. Ghadar Party of Lala Hardayal. Ras Behari Bose also established Indian Independence League at Singapore. We have seen yesterday Indian Independence League of Singapore and invited Subhash Chandra Bose in Bangkok conference to lead the Indian National Army. Invited Subhash Chandra Bose in Bangkok conference to lead the Indian Army. So these are some important points that went during the pre-war, pre-First World War revolutionary organizations and the activities. Revolutionary movement had spread it in foreign land as well. It had spread it in. So revolutionary movement abroad. Revolutionary movement abroad. Shyamji Krishna Burma. He established Indian Home Rule Society in London. Indian Home Rule Society in London. He provided shelter and the legal support to revolutionaries. Shelter and legal support to revolutionaries. His house was known as India House. India House. B.D. Savarkar and Lala Hardayal. He became active member of India House. B.D. Savarkar and Lala Hardayal. He became active member of India House. B.D. Savarkar and Lala Hardayal. He became active member of India House. Madan Lal Dhingra. Killed Curzon Wyllie. He was also member of India House. Curzon Wyllie. Curzon Wyllie was not that Viceroy Curzon. Curzon Wyllie was officer on the advisor of Secretary of State. Advisor of Secretary of State for India, who advised the partition of Bengal. Who advised the partition of Bengal. who advised the partition of Bengal. So Curzon Wyllie was the main architect of the formula of partition of Bengal, who sent draft to Lord Curzon. So Madan Lal Dhingra killed him. Very soon, London no more remained as a safe place for the revolutionaries. London no more remained a safe place for revolutionaries. No more remained as a safe place for revolutionaries. London and Paris no more remained as a safe place for revolutionaries. From Paris and Geneva, Madame Bikaji Kama supported the revolutionary activities. Revolutionary activities. Paris and Geneva. Supported the revolutionary activities. She started publication of Bande Matram. So when Bande Matram was banned, in India, then Madame Bikaji Kama operated from Paris. She established Paris Indian Society. She also started publication of newspaper Talwar, TALVAR, to justify the revolutionary activities in India. To justify the revolutionary activities in India. Shyamji Krishna Burma, he published Indian Sociologist. Indian Sociologist. Shyamji Krishna Burma, he published with Indian Sociologist. So these are the revolutionary activities going before the First World War. In foreign countries, Gadar Party. (1913). It was established by Lala Hardayal. He was professor, philosopher, ideologue, and fundraiser. Fundraiser for revolutionary activities. Fundraiser for revolutionary activities. Fundraiser for revolutionary activities. Fundraiser for revolutionary activities. Gadar Party was established in San Francisco. With the objective of San Francisco, with the objective of armed rebellion and violent uprooting of British rule from India. Violent uprooting of British rule from India. The violent uprooting of British rule from India. Gadar Party, 1913. Armed rebellion and violent uprooting of British rule from India. They started publication of newspaper The Gadar. Started publication of newspaper The Gadar. It was published in many languages. and English. Ghadar Party. So Hindi Gurmukh and English. Some of the leaders of Ghadar Party, Ras Bihari Bose. This question was asked in prelims. Ras Bihari Bose, Bhai Parmanand, Ajit Singh, Sohan Singh Bhakana, the Ghadar. But Lala Hardayal, he was expelled from America, and thereafter the Ghadar party, Ghadar movement had almost subsided. Lala Hardayal settled in Punjab. Lala Hardayal settled in Punjab. Kama, Gata Maru, incident. Kamagata Maru incident. when London and Paris Rome no more remained as a safe place, then revolutionaries had found a new destination in America and Canada. So when London and Paris no more remained as a safe place for the revolutionaries, then revolutionaries had found a new place in America and Canada. Revolutionaries had found a new place in America and Canada. But government of Canada passed a laws passed a laws in which it was said that those revolutionaries not coming directly from India, they won't get entry in Canada. Those revolutionaries not coming directly from India, they won't get entry in Canada. They won't get entry in Canada. But Supreme Court of Canada permitted some Indian on humanitarian ground. On humanitarian ground. So encouraged by this, there was a Punjabi immigrant in Japan. His name was Gurdeep Singh. He hired a ship known as Kamagata Maru. So Kamagata Maru overloaded ship. It started from Japan and then many parts of Southeast Asia. And the ship reached to Vancouver. But the Canadian police had stopped the ship. And the discussion started. A sore committee was constituted on ship under under Rahim Singh. So Rahim Singh was talking to the Canadian authority and they were forcing them to allow to get inside Canada. Meanwhile, First World War started and Canada was an ally of Britain. So ship was forced to sail back to India. Because of the pressure from Britain, the ship was forced to sail back to India. And subsequently, when the ship reached to Hooghly, the British police had taken control of the ship. And then firing in stampede started, leading to the death of many Indians. Many of them jumped in water to drowned. So they died either by drowning in the water or they died of the British bullet. And those who remained, they trying to catch the train for Punjab, but they were shot by British police on the platform itself. So it was a massacre and it was a tragic end of Kamagata Maru. It had created huge fear in the minds of the Indians. So after this incident, there is a drastic decline in the revolutionary activities. And rather you can say the first phase of the revolutionary movement came to an end. First phase, revolutionary movement came to an end. So government of Canada. So first phase of revolutionary movement. First phase of revolutionary movement ended. Mainly because of the repressive laws passed by British. Repressive laws passed by British. Second, advent of Gandhi in Indian politics. Advent of Gandhi in Indian politics. Gandhi came to India as a youth icon. He came to India as a youth icon. He came to India as a youth icon and very much attracting the Indian youth to join the non-violent non-cooperation movement. Non-violent non-cooperation movement. So many youth had joined the Gandhian movement by giving up the cult of violence. Many youth had joined the Gandhian movement by giving up the cult of violence. They wanted to give a Gandhian movement a chance. They wanted to give a Gandhian movement a chance to lead the movement. Gandhian movement, a chance to lead the movement. Third, Kamagata Maru incident. It had created fear and apprehension among the Indians. Fear and apprehension among the Indians. Kamagata Maru incident. It had created fear and apprehension among the Indians. So therefore, Indians in large number left the revolutionary activities and participated in Gandhian non-violence. Participated in Gandhian non-violence. So these are the factors that subsided the revolutionary activities. Second phase of revolutionary movement. Second phase of revolutionary movement. This phase started immediately after suspension of non-cooperation movement. This phase started immediately after suspension of non-cooperation movement. Once again, there was atmosphere of frustration among the Indian youth. So let us understand the reason behind the beginning of revolutionary movement after suspension of non-cooperation movement. First factor, during the First World War, Defence of India Act 1915 was passed. Defence of India Act 1915 was passed. So those who spoke against the war, they were arrested. They were arrested. The Rowlatt Act was also very much intended to suppress the youth. But in 1920, many youths were released. Youths were released. As a policy of general amnesty, to create harmonious atmosphere for talks. Harmonious atmosphere for talks. During the non-cooperation movement, Gandhi and C.R. Das actively participated in convincing the youth to left the violence. But sudden withdrawal of non-cooperation movement the youth of India was very much disillusioned. Youth of India was very much disillusioned. Once again, there was political frustration among them. They understood that the Gandhian leadership had failed. Therefore, they once again started looking for alternative to the politics of non-violence. Alternative politics for non-violence. Gandhi always called for non-violence, and he understood that the non-violence is soul of Indian national movement, and violence is cowardice. The violent uprooting of British Empire is not necessary, but the social, economic, political empowerment of Indians can make India self-reliant without dependency on Britain, and that is how the British will be expelled and forced to withdraw from India. So Gandhian non-violence and the revolutionaries' thought was totally contradictory. Gandhi wanted socio-political empowerment of the Indians, economic empowerment of Indians, and thereby putting off the British dependency. Thereafter, British will be forced to leave India. But revolutionaries wanted it by the force, violence, bloodshed. So after suspension of non-cooperation movement, the younger generation no more remained as party to the constitutional politics. they began to understand that violence is the only ways would free India. Therefore, the revolutionary movement had revived again. Almost all the revolutionaries of this phase had participation in the non-cooperation movement. Almost all revolutionaries of this phase had participation in non-cooperation movement. But after the withdrawal, they became more aggressive. Towards the organized violence. Some of the revolutionaries of this phase, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee, Surya Sen, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, Shiv Burma, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee, Bhagwati Charan Bohra, Chandrasekhar Azad, Ram Prasad Bismil, they were the major revolutionaries of this phase. Major influence the guide of Lala Hardayal. Lala Hardayal settled in Punjab after Gadar movement, and Lala Hardayal guided the revolutionaries. The book of Bhagwati Charan Bohra Philosophy of Bomb. Philosophy of Bomb. book of Bhagavati Charan Bohra, Philosophy of Burma. Russian Revolution and its success. Greatly guided the revolutionaries. Rise of the labor movement and the communist movement. Labor movement and the communist movement against capitalism also guided the revolutionaries. So beginning of the labor movement and the communist movement against capitalism also guided this movement. Some of the books like Bandi Jeevan by Sachin Sanyal, Pather Dabi by Sarat Chandra Chatterjee, also inspired the revolutionaries. Sarat Chandra Chatterjee also inspired the revolutionaries. Sachin Sanyal, Bandi Jeevan, highlighted the exploitation and suppression of India by the British slave. Pather Dabi by Sarat Chatterjee. In this phase, revolutionaries had proper objective. Proper objective. Revolutionaries had proper objective. Like they wanted establishment of republican government, republican government, after overthrowing the British, republican government after overthrowing the British. Second, they were in favor of establishment of socialism. The objective of this government was to establish the socialism. Secular principle. Secular principle. So revolutionaries had proper objective defined. And they had developed social support because of ideology. They had all India network to carry out the revolutionary activities. They had centralized leadership to command and control the nature of revolutionary movement. Centralized leadership to command and control the nature of revolutionary movement. This phase was mainly operated by Bhagat Singh. Chandrasekhar Azad. Okay, then we'll see after the break. We'll carry the second phase of the revolutionary movement.